WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A coding error at the state capitol could end up costing local school district and teachers. During this year's legislative session, state leaders, you may remember, granted teachers a pay raise. Well, as it turns out, some positions, including special education, gifted, and career technical teachers, were not covered in the bill. The Mississippi Department of Education this afternoon saying it miscalculated the number of teachers who were eligible for the raise. State Representative Gary Chisholm says the mistake isn't a big deal. Chisholm believes school districts can dip into their reserves to pay the teachers who were excluded.
They get money each month from the Department of Education. If need be, the Department of Education can send extra money up there to them so that they can pay those school teachers if they didn't have the money in reserve themselves. Most school districts, though, have money in reserve. They're supposed to have like 2 or 3 months of money in reserve, so it should not be a problem.
Now, Chisholm adds he doesn't think the governor will call a special session to correct the issue. He says the matter will probably be addressed in the deficit appropriations bill in 2020. Chisholm says school districts will be reimbursed the money they use to pay those raises, their funds rather that they use to pay the raises. We'll have more coming up on WCBI News at 10 o'clock. Well, students at Mississippi State are gearing up for their final exams, but for graduating seniors, it's time to look beyond that last test. After they cross the stage, the real world officially begins. Our Riley Livingston talks to students who say where they plan to go from here.
It's finals time at Mississippi State University, and that means students are hitting the books and fitting in those last-minute cram sessions. But some students are facing some extra stress.
After I graduate, hopefully I'm getting a job in Texas. I've got 2 prospects, so hopefully I'm going to be on TV for a considerable time over in Texas, where I've always wanted to be.
This year, seniors are looking past finals to graduation and the job market.
I've actually got an offer in Wyoming that I'm probably going to accept.
While others focus on perfecting their grades.
I haven't been on a job hunt just because I've been focusing on graduating and trying to get these grades perfect for med school.
Many students are leaving the Magnolia State for what they consider greener pastures.
The market is supposedly better than it's ever been for college graduates. There are lots of issues. Sometimes keeping kids in Mississippi is a problem, and they want to leave for a variety of reasons. The lights and sights and sounds of the big city. Some don't feel the opportunity is here for them.
It's not really anything about like Mississippi. I've just always wanted to go to Texas, Oklahoma since I was little.
Programs like MSU's E-Center are working to help students make connections, build skills, and bring opportunities to the state.
There are 3 outcomes that we like. The first is they don't pursue the business, but the skills they get, the business skills they get, make them more valuable in the marketplace. That's one win. The second one is they take their student startup and use it as a side hustle to supplement their professional gig. The third and biggest best outcome is they decide to pursue their startup full-time, not only creating a job for themselves, hopefully in Mississippi, but also creating more jobs for other people.
With a job in hand or not, students are ready to walk across that stage.
Right now it feels great because I know I'm going to have a breather for a second after graduating.
It's exciting. It's like, I've been working my butt off here in college, and now it's like you got this job lined up. It's time to go pursue that dream.
The Mississippi Department of Employment Security shows the state lost 1,300 people from 2016 to 2017. DeSoto and Harrison counties were the only counties showing significant growth. Now, for those grads staying in the state, the job market may be a little tighter for the second straight month. Unemployment is up in Mississippi. The state's jobless rate, that is, ticked up to 4.9% in March. That's a slight increase from February's rate of 4.8%. The labor force and number of people reporting jobs both fell. The number of unemployed people rose to about 62,000 statewide. The lowest jobless rate is in Lafayette County with 3.7% unemployment. High school seniors are also getting ready to face the world outside of school. To help make that transition as smooth as possible, Baldwin High School is hosting a crash course. They're calling it Adulting 101. Allie Martin has more on it.
Before Wednesday morning, Keely Wade didn't know the first thing about checking the oil level in a car or changing a tire. But now the Baldwin High School senior is more confident she can handle basic vehicle care when she goes to college.
After we graduate, we're going to be on our own, and we're going to need to know how to do just basic things in life, because we can't always ask mama to do everything for us.
2 presses. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Inside the auditorium, Sergeant Sean Kroll was talking to students about the importance of nutrition and physical fitness.
Well, as a Marine Corps recruiter, yes, my job is to tell the Marine Corps story and be able to train young men and women to become Marines. But on top of that, my philosophy is that I'm just trying to influence young people.
Whatever is next for the high school seniors after graduation, the topics covered in Adulting 101 can help them years down the road.
We're leaving high school. We're going from mom and daddy's house, not knowing nothing, to all of a sudden everything's real. We're paying the bills. We're the adult for once in our life.
It's time to send them off into real adulthood, and so we just want to make sure that we've covered everything that they possibly could need.
Baldwin High School seniors graduate in 1 month. Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And Thursday's Adulting 101 will cover the topics of interacting with law enforcement, proper workplace attire, and basic money management. Keith Gibson standing by now to give us a first look at our forecast on this Wednesday. Keith?
Very nice and sunny all day long. Andrea, here's our time lapse from downtown Tupelo, our Alpha Insurance camera. A few friendly clouds drifting overhead, a southerly breeze. Not too bad here. We are warm, upper 70s, low 80s across our region. Clouds are increasing though, and we may see an isolated evening shower. Better rain chances later tonight and tomorrow. We can show you that with Futurecast, and just a slight chance for a sprinkle or a light shower tonight. But as we roll on into tomorrow morning's commute, some additional rain comes on in. Lows tonight into the 60s. Your full forecast coming up.
Every 3 years, the Winston Choctaw Correctional Facility receives a top-to-bottom inspection is required so the facility can continue to house state inmates. Our Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio with some of what goes into the process.
Andrea, the checklist is long and requires a lot of work, but the jail is hitting high marks. The Winston Choctaw County Regional Correctional Facility passed its accreditation. In fact, every check mark was a hit with a score of 100%. Jails that house state inmates must maintain the high scores through the American Corrections Association accreditation.
The standards are set by the American Corrections Association. They involve the security measures, the housing standards, our programs, and our medical. This will allow us to continue to house state inmates.
The ACA has over 500 standards. Deputy Warden and ACA Manager Patricia Wickham says she handled most of the paperwork, but it took a team effort to receive the highest score possible.
I have 533 files that I have to prepare for the audit. Also, the presentation of the facility. We want to make sure that we represent the facility well. We are making sure that the inmates are well taken care of, and within the guidelines of MDOC, make sure they are taken care of.
Corrections officers and other staff gave the auditors background information and tours. Winston County Sheriff Jason Pugh is proud of the work put into the accreditation.
It is a great issue of pride for me to see our employees at this facility succeed and do as well as they do. We are a major employer in the county. We have a lot of people that work for us, and the fact that those people are working, doing such a great job, doing it safely and doing it to the level that they're doing it is incredible.
Warden Higginson says his staff keeps up with the strict standards each day, that there's no way there's no minute last work to do when it's time for an audit.
Coming up, some area residents are taking steps toward a healthier lifestyle. We find out what they're doing when we come back. Welcome back. Instead of working through lunch today, dozens of people in Starkville walked through their lunch. Two companies in the Thad Cochran Research and Technology Park hosted Walk at Lunch Day. Folks strolled through the park and visited booths to get healthy snacks, nutritional information, and also advice from health experts on incorporating healthier habits into their lifestyles. There were also opportunities to win prizes and even join local gyms.
It's very close to the university, so we get a lot of university folks walking, students, faculty, staff, and a lot of folks coming in from Starkville to walk. So it's a beautiful park, walkway all the way. It's one mile around the loop, so it's perfect for a nice afternoon walk.
This is the third year the Research Park has held this walk at lunch day. There you go. Easy for me to say. Well, hard work pays off for a group of third graders who have improved their reading skills thanks to members from the Junior Auxiliary of Tupelo. Every week, JA members have visited Longhorn Elementary, where they listen to students read and also tutor the youngsters in reading. The program is called Class Crowns, and it has helped students at 2 elementary schools sharpen their reading skills. JA members say they look forward to these weekly sessions.
I just love these kids. Look at these smiles. It's so much fun. Every week we leave with huge grins on our faces. We hope that they are confident and they improve their skills and that they know that they can succeed if they work hard.
JA members hosted a party for the Class Crowns students. Each student got a book to take home and to read through the summer.
It's a good day to be out and about here. Still pretty nice this evening. We do have clouds on the increase. You can see that with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network, and that foreshadows some changes tonight and tomorrow. Full forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Pretty nice out there today. Friendly clouds drifting overhead Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon, Alabama. No problems whatsoever. Hopefully you took advantage. I was outside sunning myself before work on my back patio. I did not want to come on into work today. It was so nice, and I'm sure all these first graders at Caledonia Elementary School, they probably wanted to be outside playing a good chunk of the day, but meteorologist Alex Puckett was out there this morning talking weather safety, severe weather, all things weather again up there in Caledonia. We had a great time, and we just have a few more weeks of school to go before we get into summer. Hard to believe. All quiet here, all dry with our live Doppler radar. We have been looking at a few spotty showers, at least in the clouds, out towards Batesville and Oxford. You can see a little band of showers off to our southwest. Some of that could squeak on through here tonight, so still a chance for a sprinkle here during the evening. Better rain chances later tonight and tomorrow because of that big mass of rain and storminess out there in Texas. And check that out. A tornado spotted near College Station, Texas this afternoon. Michael Black sends us that via Facebook, and you can see that debris flying up right there. A pretty strong storm. Now, those storms are clustered in Texas right now. We will advance through the night and pause this at 5 a.m. The remnants of that could actually be near Jackson by daybreak, and then some of that in a weakened state could be drifting across the southern half of our area tomorrow morning for the commute. So yes, there could be some rain around as we start out our Thursday, and we may keep the showers and storms going into the early to mid-afternoon hours, especially south and east of the Trace. Now back to the northwest, we could still see some isolated showers and storms rotate on through during the second half of the day. The strongest storms by far look like they'll be along and south of I-20 tomorrow. We are looking at some nice clearing as we get into our Friday. So speaking of that severe weather threat in the yellow along and south of I-20, the best chance for damaging wind and maybe an isolated tornado. Can't rule out a strong storm this far north, but it looks like the better odds will be just to our south. We'll keep watching it, though. And just to our south, too, several inches of rain for us, maybe a quarter of an inch to 1 inch plus, depending on how things shake out. Don't forget, we're programming weather radios tomorrow. Kroger in Starkville, 4:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon. 60s for lows tonight. Better chances for some showers and storms later tonight. And for tomorrow, we are in the 70s. On Thursday, we'll clear that system out. Friday, 76. Saturday, partly cloudy, 80. Can't rule out a stray shower Sunday. Much warmer early next week. Sports is next. Stay tuned.
WCBI First Alert Weather School is brought to you by Emerson Animal Hospital in West Point. Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The number 4, it's the amount of consecutive years that Mississippi State has now won the Governor's Cup. And 4 is also the big white numeral found on the back of sophomore Rowdy Jordan's jersey, which, by the way, it was Jordan's solo home run that tied the game up in the bottom of the 5th. And as special as the number 4 became in that 2019 rivalry game, it was the number 17, sophomore Justin Foskew's 2 RBI double down the right field line that sparked the life for the Diamond Dogs offense. It allowed State to pull away and go on to get the 8-1 win, and Foskew undoubtedly earning MVP honors because of it. With a series loss to Arkansas hanging over the team's head and with Georgia on the horizon in Starkville, The win over Ole Miss is exactly what the Bulldogs needed in a tough midweek matchup. The Battle of the Bulldogs in Starkville begins Friday at 6:30 p.m. Sadness sweeps over the city of Oxford as Ole Miss loses not only a member of the Rebel family, but a legend of Ole Miss men's basketball. Former All-American Johnny Newman passes away after a long battle with illness at the age of 68. Newman is remembered to have one of the most dominant scoring seasons in college basketball, averaging 40.1 points per game in the 1970-71 season. He still sits on top of the list of Rebels for highest scoring games, one of those being a 63-point victory against LSU. Newman was honored as an SEC basketball legend at the 2016 SEC tournament. Well, Thursday marks the beginning of the 2019 NFL Draft. Lots of Magnolia State talent hoping to make runs at professional careers. Both Mississippi State and Ole Miss, they're no strangers to draft selections, this year being no exception to that. And the biggest contenders, State's edge Montez Sweat's defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons and Ole Miss wide receiver DK Metcalf. Also getting in the mix, the Rebels wide receiver A.J. Brown, along with State safety Jonathan Abram, and even more projected as potential second-round picks. But in terms of the first round, here's everything you need to know before tomorrow. Montez Sweat and DK Metcalf will be in attendance in Nashville, Tennessee, whereas the other players will learn their fates locally. The first round will again begin Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Well, in the midst of baseball playoffs, Hatley has two players decide on where they will further their baseball careers when the season comes to an end. Avery Benson and Matt Swan both signed with Freed Hardman. Benson is batting .500 with 24 RBIs, and Swan is batting .452 with 12 RBIs. The two have been playing together for 6 years and are grateful for the opportunity to continue doing so at the next level.
It's really exciting. I've been dreaming about playing college baseball my whole life, and finally get the opportunity, and especially play with one of my best friends, is a great feeling.
It's definitely a blessing to get to play with a good friend of mine. He's been very beneficial to me, helping me when I needed it, when I didn't need it, because he's always been there for me and I've always been there for him. It's just a great relationship.
Matt and Avery have been nothing but an asset to Hatley School, and you know that we were fortunate enough to have them playing baseball, and I've enjoyed every minute of coaching them. They're very coachable young men that come out every day and play as hard as they possibly can, and it's paying off for them.
That's it for sports. The last look at your forecast is coming up after the break. Stick with us.
Some of those clouds building on in right now, so we will see some rain chances later on tonight, but really as we get into our day tomorrow, so some showers, some storms. It still looks like the best chance for strong to severe storms on Thursday just to our south. We'll keep watching it though. For you Friday and Saturday, pretty nice, and even into next week too, pretty warm.
Another great weekend. That's 2 in a row, isn't it?
It's shaping up to be okay. At least Saturday. There could be a little bit of wet weather Sunday, but we'll see.
All right, that is the news at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening.